Hi, welcome to my weekly video series on positive lifestyle and mindset of happiness. My name is Floria, founder of Recognize Your Potential, and thank you so much for joining me here today. You may have heard from my social media posts that our topic today is letting go, the art of letting go. And today we're going to talk a little bit about letting go of fears. You may already be aware that we have a lot of different types of fears. And they didn't develop overnight. We didn't develop all those fears overnight. So it will probably be a while for us to be aware what are our fears and then letting them go and gradually trusting that things are working out, that things are easier for us, that we are well looked after. Those kinds of trust will take some practice. And our topic today came as a result of one of the viewers who took the time to write and ask this question, who wrote, would you please do a video and talk about letting go? And therefore I said, come on, that's a very large, broad topic. Tell me more. And then the viewer said, well, let's talk about letting go of fears. And who said, in the days of internet and so many things that we hear, I'm afraid that someone may know where I live, somebody that I don't know very well, but may find out that where I live. And there is a lot of fears associated with it. So we're going to tackle this topic in as concise as possible, because any of these topics of conversation can go on much longer. But the first thing is to acknowledge, to realize, to be aware that we have a fear. So in this case, this particular viewer acknowledged that they had a fear. They were fearful of something happening that they didn't want. So that was the first thing, being aware that we have a fear of something that we do not want to happen. Now, the second thing, that in itself, the self-awareness of a fear is really huge, and acknowledging it is the second step. So the first step is the self-awareness. The second step is acknowledging the fear and simply saying to oneself, well, it's okay. Acknowledging I have this fear that someone may find out where I live and it may not be what I like or want. So acknowledging it, but quickly moving on. The acknowledgement step needs to be very quick. Just acknowledge it and then move on. Move on quickly rather than spending much time. So we need to acknowledge a problem and then quickly focus on a solution. So the solution starts with letting go of the judgment. I was just talking about this whole step with one of my clients yesterday, who we were talking about a different case, but it was about letting go of that judgment. That, hey, aren't you stupid to have this kind of a fear, that kind of a judgment actually makes us feel worse than the actual fear coming into reality. So we want to let go of that judgment. The judgment of, aren't you stupid? Why would you even think that? And stop being so fearful, stop living in fear. So those kinds of judgments do not help us. We want to acknowledge, let go of any fear, purely observing it, acknowledging it, observing, and letting go of any fear, any judgment about the fear. Because the judgment of the fear itself is huge and hurts us, is more painful for us, and creates greater fear in us because we are being judging to ourselves and being judgmental and saying, what kind of a thought is that? You're stupid. That in itself makes us feel worse than the fear of someone else finding out where we live. So, being self-aware, acknowledging, letting go of any judgment about the fear that we are experiencing. Now, then it is the next step, the fourth step is self-soothing talk. Being very self-soothing to yourself. Well, it's okay to feel this way because you may have heard on the news or you may have heard something, but it's okay. Things generally have worked out for you and for me. Talking to yourself that, hey, it's okay. Thus far, I've always been safe and I'm in a safe place and things are okay. I don't think I have much to worry about. And I'm letting go of this fear of someone else finding out, and I'm letting go of what I just heard on the news, and that's a rare case. So the chances of me being okay are very high. The probability of it is very high. And I'm practicing letting go of this particular fear. Now, this is only one of the many fears we may experience. And I'm only giving the example of this particular example because so many people may be impacted by it. There are many, many types of fears that we experience quite regularly, or you might be experiencing, and you want to let go as you become aware of them. The principles are the same. However, I'm going to talk more about this art of letting go of that fear more often because it is something that, frankly speaking, is a lifelong journey, and we just want to practice that more and more every day. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch in closing. So be self-aware, acknowledge the fear, then let go of any judgment, and then practice self-soothing talk so that assuring yourself that things are okay. Love to hear from you. Like this particular viewer, you too can ask questions. Let me know what your thoughts are. I have Floria at Recognize Your Potential, my website, or my social media, or my YouTube. Until next week, have a marvelous Monday.